Hi, I feel like a party for 500 members plus. It's incredible. It's incredible. I feel very honored and blessed and grateful to have 500 people in my group. This weekend, I was a part of a panel in front of composers, film composers, musicians, songwriters, and multimedia composers. There you go. New word. I didn't know multimedia composers. So there you go. After an evening of talking and lots of questions about producers and how can I find a good producers, negative experiences with producers, I sort of came up with a kind of an explanation that lots of people loved. So I thought I better share that with my own virtual school of sound. So where to start, where to start, where to start? What's doing, the production of a song, of a music piece? The production of a song that I see in front of me is, I can play the piano, I can sing, but I'm not a drummer. So my production really starts with producing the drums, right? I use drum loops, I use EZdrummer from Logic. So how I see it, and I could be wrong, let's make this a conversation opener because, I always want to learn. I want to learn more, and I learn more every day. So for me, production of the drums is microsurgery. It is microsurgery because it's a drum loop. Imagine, always go back to the reality, right? A drummer, he never drums the same way every bar, right? He will do variations, and every time he will slam the snare, he will do it with a different velocity. He will do it in a different place on the snare, maybe more in the center of the snare, or maybe more at the edge of the snare. So you also have there, you have a tonal difference, right? So if you use drum loops or EZdrummer, for instance, you really have to go and microsurgery every bar. Every bar you have to change the values of the snares, of the toms, variations. You can't just take a loop and loop it for 1 minute. That's, no one does that. No drummer does that, right? Same goes for if I use a violin. I will play it with my MIDI keyboard because already my values, the values because I play it, will differ. If you just note it into Logic or into any DAW, they will all get the value 127, right? So no violinist is gonna play with the same value for every note, right? There's no feeling there. So that's one side of producing a song. Then the second big part of the producing of a song is the frequency spectrum. And I can compare it with, if you build a house, you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna put the toilet there, the bathroom's there because it's Logic. Then you have the kitchen there, you've got the living room there. So when you produce a song, you're gonna take each instrument that comes within a song and gonna give it a place within the frequency spectrum, right? The bass is gonna sit there, the bass drum is gonna sit there, the violin is gonna sit there, the vocal is gonna sit there. So you actually decide up front, okay, like in a choir or in an orchestra, the soprano, the alto, they all have their octave they're playing, right? They all have their range. So they're not running in each other's way. So you become that a lot with the frequency spectrum, with EQing every instrument that way that it gets his place within the frequency spectrum. Then the third thing about production is compression of every track in such a way that, and we discussed it a couple of weeks ago in school, it's compression you sometimes don't hear. You more feel it, or it's more like an excitement you add to the track, to the instrument. Then you come to the plugins, the reverbs, the delays. You're not going to apply a reverb to a vocal and use the same reverb like the whole song through, right? So you have to automate it. And the reverb during the chorus is going to be different than during the verse. It's, like you make a drop, for instance, with all the instruments within a song. You can make a drop with all the reverbs and just take the vocal a little bit dry, even if it's just for 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 words, and then make it excited again by, adding another reverb or delay or whatever, So that's also a part of production. For me, production is also being very creative. I dare to tell you that I've been walking around this earth with a microphone. From the age of 19, I was actually traveling every year to Southeast Asia. I've been through Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, Nepal, India. And I was always walking around with a microphone and a DAT in the beginning, a DAT recorder, digital audio tape. Doesn't exist anymore now. Now I walk around with a Zoom. But I've always been fascinated with sounds, right? Everything that's creaked or everything that made this sort of weird sound, I just recorded it. So I always say to my students, don't go out and buy all these sample libraries, and try to be creative, try to create your own sound, you know, slap everything inside the house and see what it sounds like. You know, EQ it, take the highs out, take the lows out, see what really is within the sound that you just recorded. Just to give you an example, I took like a bird's noise that I recorded, and I just took out all the low end, and I just was ending up with like a chirp, you know, a high end chirp, something like that. And that's what I use within my drum package for my hi-hats, you know, or for like a type of, you know, ear candy, as they say. So it's the creative process of creating your own sounds, creating your own and unique sample package that you can reuse as well, because it will be part of your sound, and people will recognize that every time they go, oh, that's, you know, that's her, because yeah, I recognize those sounds. I think that's also part of producing. So where is the producing? Who's doing the producing? Is it the artists? Is it me that puts in, you know, or is it a sound engineer that mixes the EQ? Or is it a producer who's got like the overall look and, you know, needs to feel, you know, the sounds that go together? It's a very big debate, I think, but it's also something that's very undervalued by a lot of people, how much work it takes me to microsurgeon every bar of the drums within a 3-minute 30 song. It's a lot of work to do that, but that makes it unique, right? So how to get to a good producer? I think it's research the people that you know that do production, that do like the production of the type of music that you do yourself. So if you're in the same lane of the same genre already, I think then you will understand each other, and then you've got the sort of click. The click is intellectual, it's technical, but it's definitely feeling it. It's the feeling you have with a certain person. If you can be able to approach this person and say, I want to feel this, or, you know, to be able to say, I want this violin to make my hair stand up on my arms, and the person is able to do that, then this producer is really for you. So just a chiming thing that I wanted to say, I think it's a very good start for debate, and please give all your comments, because I think many people are struggling with the same question. And even me, I can, you know, I still learn, you know, and I know that Mr. Pensado from Pensado's Place, for instance, I watch his channel. You know, these kind of people are doing worldwide mixes and worldwide bands, and, you know, they're in the business for 30 years and more. So obviously you can always learn from someone who's been doing this way longer than you. So yeah, let's start the conversations, and, you know, welcome to my 500 members. I'm so proud of you all, and please comment on this and feel free to share knowledge, share each other's knowledge, share each other's feelings, and welcome. Okay, take care. Bye.